For the past 30 plus years, the Grand Cherokee has been a very important part of the Jeep portfolio. And when the company introduced the all-new 5th generation back in 2021, they really raised the bar. And this vehicle has been important because this is the best-selling midsize SUV in America. At least that's what Jeep says. So for 2026, we are seeing a fully revised version. And as you can see today, we're here at Chrysler's headquarters in Detroit, Michigan, because we're finally able to get a chance to see the new Grand Cherokee in the sheet metal. So now that we're doing so, let's go ahead and take a detailed first look. Now, before we start talking about the exterior styling changes, and believe me, there are some exterior styling changes for 2026, I want to actually pop the hood and show you guys what's underneath here, because this is where Jeep actually made a big upgrade for 2026. Now, of course, the base engine remains the 3.6-liter Pentastar V6. There's also a 4xe version that's a plug-in hybrid. However, this has a completely new powertrain for Jeep. It's the company's new 2-liter turbocharged gasoline and port-injected Hurricane 4-cylinder engine. So this is not the same engine as the old 2-liter that you found under the hood of the previous generation model. This powertrain here makes 324 horsepower and 332 pound-feet of torque. So think of this 4-cylinder as, again, in the same engine family as the 3-liter twin-turbo Hurricane inline 6, but it's actually a 4-cylinder. It's hooked up to, of course, an 8-speed automatic transmission built by ZF, and Jeep says you can take your pick between their rear-wheel drive or the company's full-time 4-wheel drive system. Unfortunately, at this point, we don't actually have any fuel economy figures just yet, but Jeep says this powertrain is brand new from the ground up. It incorporates this really interesting JTI technology, which stands for jet turbine injection. And Jeep says that technology was kind of brought in from a racing development engine, where it allows the engine to be much more efficient, much more powerful, and they're promising it's going to get best-in-class fuel efficiency, but we don't have those final figures, of course, just yet. Now, if you guys were looking for just a regular hybrid, this is where I'm a little surprised that Jeep didn't want to pair this up with like an electric motor or a mild hybrid system, but regardless, this powertrain should become the volume engine, as Jeep expects a lot of Grand Cherokee buyers to take around, or at least the take rate to be around 2/3 of the Grand Cherokee mix. But let's go ahead and close up the hood here and talk about the exterior styling, because as you can see, if you guys are familiar with the current WL generation Grand Cherokee, this should be pretty familiar. In fact, I had to squint pretty hard to actually see the changes, but if you guys are an owner of the vehicle, you can see that the 7-slot grille has been slightly updated. It's a little bit more upright. It's a little bit higher up as well. Jeep says it's around 2 inches higher up. The grille with the slots are a little bit more pronounced. They're also a little bit wider. The headlights have a new light signature where you have this kind of blade functioning as the LED daytime running lights. You still have a reflector style for the LED low and high beams. And then this trim here, as you can see, also has LED fog lights. The lower fascia here also is a little bit enlarged with the air intake openings. And this color is called Copper Chino. It's actually a new color for 2026. Jeep is going to offer the Grand Cherokee in 3 different core trims. There's the base Laredo, there's the Limited, and of course there's the Summit. This is the new Summit Obsidian trim, which again, Jeep has pretty much removed all of the chrome accents on their vehicles, and they've replaced it with either black or a satin silver accent. Now, moving around the side profile, as you can see, this is the 2-row model. If you guys are looking for the 3-row, the 3-row will basically have the same changes that Jeep has employed here on the 2-row. And because it's the 2-row model, the overall length is pretty right size at 193.5 with a 116.7-inch wheelbase. You can see proportionally, this is, again, a really nice looking upright boxy vehicle. This Summit Obsidian trim comes with these really attractive 21-inch alloy wheels with kind of like a glossy gray finish. It's a very intricate wheel on a 275 by 45 or 21-inch tire. The brakes I'm expecting are the same. They're around 14 inches in diameter in the front and rear. And then if you guys go for the Trailhawk model, which is the white one that I have behind me, it'll come standard, of course, with skid plates, the active air suspension where you can raise and lower the vehicle up to 3.6 inches. In total, Grand Cherokees can offer up to nearly 11 inches of ground clearance. Now, of course, this being the Summit Obsidian trim, you do have, of course, that 2-tone paint configuration here where you have the black roof. You also have a panoramic sunroof, these low-profile roof rails, and overall, the side profile hasn't really changed. Remember, this is just a mid-cycle refresh, so don't expect to find all of the big upgrades that Jeep was probably showing on some of their other refresh models. Looking at the rear, you can see taillights look almost the same to me as the previous generation. These are, again, a combination of an LED with some incandescent elements. I also like the kind of black bar that goes across. It's not a full LED light bar, so I like the fact that Jeep didn't go with the trendy design. There's also, of course, a little badge here with the Summit trim. It also has Grand Cherokee there. It's blacked out, of course, and that's kind of where the Obsidian part comes, is there's no chrome instead of all the badges are black. And then as you can see here, no visible exhaust tips. That's something where Jeep has used to offer in the past, but they kind of gone with a more cleaner look with the design. You have this little integrated spoiler, and then of course this little wiper that sits here. I would have preferred if they tucked this underneath here to kind of clean up the look, but overall it's not bad. This is a very early pre-production model, so I won't be able to open the cargo area. The power's not working to it. But in terms of cargo space, the Grand Cherokee offered around 37 cubic feet, which expand to 72. That's with all the seats folded. I expect the cargo figures to roughly stay the same, but let me know in the comment section below what you guys are thinking of this new color and some of the light changes that they've made. Now moving inside the interior of the new Grand Cherokee, as you can see, the exterior changes were very subtle, and once you get inside of this Summit Obsidian trim, it's going to look pretty familiar to the pre-refresh model. I especially love this interior color combination. These are, again, the upgraded premium leather seats with the diamond quilted stitching, the contrast stitching as well. It has the big Summit badge in the actual seat back themselves. These seats are also heated, ventilated, and they also offer a massage. Remember, the Grand Cherokee, if you guys option up to the top trim, can almost emulate a luxury vehicle. And then in terms of the rest of the dashboard, it's still pretty much the same. The only change here, though, is the center display. So now this display grows from 10.3 inches to 12.3. This is still running off of Uconnect 5. Sadly, unfortunately, there's no power to the vehicle because this is a really early first look, so I can't turn on the screens and show you that, but you can see the steering wheel still is a little bit too large for my taste. It does have Jeep's latest driver assistance where you actually can get hands-free driving on this vehicle. It has a power tilt telescoping wheel. There's a lot of glossy black accents here with some actual hard buttons, which I appreciate. There's also a head-up display. And then the top trims will come with a 19-speaker Macintosh audio system, which is also a great feature if you guys are an audiophile. The passenger display here is included on this trim, and then you also have genuine wood trim. So there's real wood on the dashboard. There's real leather with contrast stitching as well. This is all really high quality materials. The door panel also has some real leather and real wood trim. I also like how sturdy the door handles feel. The windows are also one touch up down for all four. It has Stellantis's latest switchgear, and then of course right here is supposed to be your transmission selector. It's actually a metal knob, which is really nice, along with your air suspension, your four-wheel drive switch. You have a wireless phone charging pad here. The start-stop button, it looks like they've moved it. If I remember correctly, it used to be either here, but now they've moved it to the center. There's also a little lid there you can close. I don't like the glossy black plastic here, which I think will get fingerprints and scratches, and then you can see the key fob hasn't really changed. It's still the latest intelligent access key with your usual buttons here for remote start, power liftgate, panic, unlock and lock feature, of course. There's a padded center console. If you open this up, it's actually 2 levels, and this is actually a pretty deep center console storage area, although none of your power outlets are in here. They're actually located right here where the wireless phone charging pad is. And then above me, you can see there's actually an Alcantara material in the headliner, and then the glass roof. It's a panoramic style. It actually opens up to vent air, so plenty of headroom, plenty of luxury touches, and aside from just the bigger screen, it didn't really change. It didn't really need to change, but I'm just loving the luxury and technology features that Jeep throws in. Let me go ahead and show you guys the back seat really quick so you can show you guys what that space is like. Now, I wish I could move this seat forward because as you can see, it's all the way back. This seat does have the ability to actually recline, it actually offers a pretty decent recline, and you can also fold these seats down to expand the cargo. But once you're back here, Jeep said that you had around 38 inches of legroom in the previous generation. Because this is a refresh, I expect it to stay pretty much the same. Also, because this is a Summit Obsidian trim, you have a ton of features. First of all, there's not a flat floor, obviously, for the drive shaft. So the middle passenger will have to deal with that, but you do have quad zone climate control, heated and cooled second row seats with your own climate control vents. You have 2 USB-C charging ports. You actually have a household power outlet here. You can get that open up, and then you have 2 storage cubbies. There's also retractable sun blockers here, which is nice, and then more of that leather and real wood is kind of carried over into the door panels, which again reminds you that this vehicle tries to be more like a luxury car. And then for those of you who like the extra light, the panoramic sunroof comes into the second row space, and in terms of headroom at 5'7", I have maybe a solid 2-3 inches of additional clearance. So overall, the Grand Cherokee's always been a great family vehicle, so it's no surprise to me that Jeep wouldn't really make any changes to the second row. Now, with just over 216,000 units sold in the US last year, the Grand Cherokee was again one of Jeep's best-selling models, and Jeep consistently says this is the best-selling mid-size 2-row SUV in America. So as you can see for 2026, the changes are pretty minimal, and I don't expect them to, again, make huge changes to such a big-selling vehicle. Jeep says that these vehicles are basically going to be ready to order as we speak at your local Jeep dealership, so delivery should start toward the end of the year. They haven't announced pricing just yet. I'm hoping by the time this video goes goes live, there will actually be pricing. The current model starts at around $38,800 if I remember correctly. Jeep actually lowered the price last year for 2025 by $1,000 or as much as $4,000 on some of the top end trims. If you are looking at this particular trim here, I'm gonna be surprised to see this model maybe have a mid $60,000 price range. So again, the Grand Cherokee on the low end is actually very, very affordable, but on the high end, it straddles the line between a full-on luxury brand and a more mainstream brand. But again, with all the capability, the technology, the luxury, and that new Hurricane Turbo 4, I'm very much looking forward to driving that. I imagine that all the changes are going to keep this car's position as one of the best-selling midsize two-row SUVs that you can buy. Well, while that said, hope you guys have enjoyed my very detailed overview on the fully revised 2026 Jeep Grand Cherokee. If you're also looking to see the latest cars I'm testing, be sure to follow me on Instagram at redline_reviews, like us on Facebook, and as always, guys, please keep subscribing to the Redline Reviews YouTube channel for all the latest reviews. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you all in the next video.